I sold my house at 54 and moved into 128 square foot. Most people thought that the biggest challenge for me was going to be cooking in a tiny kitchen. Turns out that's one of my favorite parts about living tiny. I think people assume that tiny house living means sacrificing everything. But strangely enough, I cook more now than I did when I had a regular house with a large galley kitchen. Back then, everything felt rushed, and it was just easier after my stressful management job to just pick something up on the way home so that I had a little bit of time to relax before starting over again the next day. Now I rarely go out to eat. I cook almost every meal in this tiny little kitchen. I think people assume tiny house living means sacrificing everything. But strangely enough, I cook more now than I did in my old house. Back then, life felt rushed. I was working a stressful management job. My house needed constant upkeep, and cooking often just felt like another chore. Now things are different. My kitchen is tiny, but my life feels bigger. So let me show you how this little kitchen actually works. This is my microwave, but it's much more than a microwave. It bakes, it air fries, and it uses convection cooking. Honestly, it's one of the best decisions I made when I moved in. And this is probably my favorite tiny house trick. I don't even keep my stove out in the open. It's stored in one of the drawers beneath the sink. When I'm done, it goes right back in the drawer, and suddenly I have all my counter space back. Living tiny forces you to be intentional. I don't have room for gadgets that I never use. I don't keep 6 frying pans. I buy what I need. I keep what I use. And honestly, I've never felt deprived. Actually, I feel lighter. Less stuff to organize, less clutter, less stress. And yes, I eat real meals. I think people imagine that I survive on microwave dinners in my tiny house. I don't. I make breakfast here, lunch, dinner here, simple meals, nothing too fancy, but honestly, I enjoy food much more now. Now let's be honest, living tiny isn't perfect. If dishes pile up, you notice. If I buy too much at the grocery store, I definitely notice. And clutter, it appears incredibly fast. So I've learned to stay organized because in 128 square feet, everything has to earn its place. The funny thing is, this tiny house isn't just my home anymore. It's becoming part of something much bigger. 3 years ago, I thought I was downsizing. Now I have chickens, a vegetable garden, a dog that's always by my side, and this tiny kitchen has become the center of my little micro-homestead. I've noticed something since starting this little garden. Food just tastes different when you've grown it yourself. Maybe it's because you watched it grow from a tiny seed. Maybe it's because you spent weeks watering it and taking care of it. Or maybe it's simply because it's as fresh as can possibly be. Whatever the reason, a tomato picked just a few minutes before dinner tastes nothing like one that's traveled hundreds of miles to the grocery store. My garden isn't huge, and I'm not trying to grow everything I eat. But every tomato I pick, every green onion I harvest, and spinach I harvest feels like an accomplishment. Even if one meal only uses a handful of ingredients from the garden, it reminds me why I wanted this lifestyle in the first place. I've also really enjoyed learning how to preserve what I grow. Instead of letting extra tomatoes or green onions go to waste, I can dehydrate them and use them months later. Every time I open one of these jars, it reminds me of summer. It's a simple thing, but it makes me smile knowing I grew it right here. When I first moved into this tiny house, I thought I was just downsizing. I didn't realize I was changing the way I looked at everyday life. Cooking isn't just another chore anymore. It's a chance to enjoy what I've grown, appreciate the simple things, and slow down for a little while. I may not grow everything I eat, but every season I'm able to grow a little more, and that's enough for me. This little garden, this tiny kitchen, and these chickens have become part of a life that feels more connected and more intentional than the one I left behind.